Ah, young love, a bright, hopeful spot in an otherwise dark and dreary world. But like all things, it will eventually come to a screaming and tragic end. The world, as you know it, is no exception. Yes, I'm referring to the apocalypse, and while there are a number of ways that our world might end, whether it's world war, plague, or a nuclear holocaust, we'd figure we'd adequately prepare you for the most likely scenario, because chances are you won't see it until it clumsily ambles up and literally bites you in the ass. And once said ass biting takes place, the world as you know it will quickly devolve into complete chaos, where people are devoured in the streets, though somehow the black guy will always be the first to bite the big one. And without any doubt, there will be literal throngs of individuals who will plunge headlong into these packs of ravenous man-eaters without so much as pulling out Google Maps to find a way around. Instead, they will put their hands on the wheel, put the pedal to their decades-old beatermobile to the metal, and pray to the high holy heavens that zombies lack the intellectual capacity of a velociraptor to open doors. Unfortunately for this particular moron, they do. And as a result, he'll be ripped limb from den-clad limb as the zombie hordes fill their rotting bellies with juicy man sirloin. So when you are faced with your first zombie horde, keep your mind focused on puppies and unicorns, and keep from mindless hysterics. And while the world will be bloodily brimming with people who are ill-prepared for the impending apocalypse, you, my young friend, will be more than ready after learning how to handle a zombie apocalypse. Step 1. Find a weapon. If you've lived your life right so far, you'll find everything that you need right in your closet. It's important you find a weapon that's both effective and sexy, and keep in mind it has to last you for as long as you'll need it. Now remember that it's crucial that, while you might be attached to something that looks particularly awesome, it might not be as spectacular or nearly as seductive as you think it is. However, once you find the weapon that you're looking for, you'll be ready to move on to Step 2. Rescue your friends. Now this strapping young lad has it all. Talent, training, athleticism, and spectacular muscle tone. With his superior Romanesque build and his penchant for brilliant swordplay, he'll be more than prepared to handle any zombie onslaught he comes up against. You are not him. Instead, pull out your pen and paper and make a comprehensive list of the people you don't completely despise. Got your list ready? Stupendous. Now find these significant others wherever they might be, gather them up, and get on the move. Now there's a chance that you'll run into some opposition. Kill them. And once you rescue your friends, be sure to do what you can to calm them, as they'll most likely be in a mindless, terror-stricken panic. Now it's time to move on to Step 3, finding some fudging shelter. Now it's vital to your continued survival that you choose a place to hunker down that has an exit accessible only from the inside. After all, nothing would suck more than having your plan B turn into a gruesome and unholy butt rush of the living dead. The solution? Be meticulous about the places you plan on trusting with your survival, and seeing as how you can't exactly stroll the streets in search of a place to hide, pull the classifieds from a newspaper most likely strewn across some half-eaten corpse, and find yourself a place to shack up. At that point, you'll be clear to move on to Step 4, finding some food. In a land overrun with vicious creatures who absolutely adore gnawing at your spleen, good, wholesome food is going to be at a lamentable premium. Undoubtedly, you'll be faced with pressing and discouraging food shortages, which will ultimately force you to confront a barren food supply. Whatever food remains will undoubtedly be spoiled and rotten, and will give you a vicious and debilitating case of the zombie apocalypse poops. Now, the first place you might think to find food is the grocery store. However, if this is a solution that you honestly considered, take a nice big step backwards and punch yourself in the back of the head. There will be zombies, fricking everywhere. Instead, try and find someplace where there's an abundance in food with a very low risk of danger or death. Sure, there's going to be casualties, but hey, what you gonna do? Stay chipper though, because you're amazingly close to finding the solution to your problem: Mormons. Now it's time to be social as you go over and make some new friends. Now it's a well-known fact that every single Mormon is uber-friendly and has the food supply of a tree squirrel. So go over and politely ask them if you can have some. Or steal it, we don't care, it's the apocalypse. Just be sure to get all the food you need for a nice, healthy, balanced diet, because if there's one thing worse than getting eaten alive by a pack of zombies, it's having to die of malnutrition with nothing but shrimp-flavored top ramen in your stomach. And don't worry about offending them with your righteous theft, because Mormons are nothing but a large accumulation of robots and, therefore, are incapable of complex emotions such as sadness or anger. However, there is the slight chance that, if you do happen to find some Mormons, that they are a rare subspecies of Mormon known as crappy Mormons or godless sodomites. and regardless of how nice you ask them, they won't let you anywhere near their precious food storage. Don't let this worry you too much though, because crappy Mormons keep crappy food storage, and they'll get what's coming to them in the form of a diet comprised entirely of decades-old spam. But this is rare, so don't let it worry you. Now it's time to sit down and strap in for the next step, the epic beatdown. Now this is the moment that you've been preparing for the past 4 steps. It doesn't matter how careful you are, you will eventually get backed into a corner where the only possible solution is bloody massacre. Now is the point where you have to put on your man pants, grab your weapon, have your buddies at your back, and get ready to start hacking. Hope you don't have a problem with blood, because over the course of the next several minutes, you will be seeing quite a bit of it. Heads will fly, arms torn from their sockets, back with a gaping chest, a shredded belly, or a well-gnawed face smelling vaguely of bath salt. Don't be too pumped about your victory, because while you were busy imagining yourself in the final fight scene in Kill Bill Volume 1, your best friend took a wicked bite to the belly and is going on some pathetic girly diatribe about he wished he could have been alive to see the extended endings for Mass Effect 3. In order to avoid the potentially awkward scenario of having your friend trying to eat you alive, put on your best sad face, take your other friend's weapon to avoid any future illegal implications, and gear up for Step 6, kill your best friend. Now this is, by far, the easiest step in the process. Simply get to your feet, raise that nice weighty 45 of yours, and say something along the lines of, "You were my brother." Remember what you learned from Call of Duty and get ready for Step 7, deleted scene, then Step 8, dying with dignity. Brace yourselves for a doozy, because during the deleted scene, you killed your best friend and your girlfriend was ripped apart by a pack of ravenous velociraptors in an incident completely unrelated to the zombie apocalypse. Now it's your turn to go down in style, as well as come up with some awesome way to commit suicide. Now, with Step 8 firmly behind you, you've reached the end of this comprehensive course of handling the zombie apocalypse. Good work, intrepid survivalist. Good work.